Welcome, and happy holidays, everyone. This is another episode of the Obone Tennis Online Coaching Podcast. This is JY Obone, and this week I wanted to talk to you about why I think Welcome, everyone, and happy holidays. This is JY Obone with the Obone Tennis Online Coaching Podcast. This week, I wanted to talk about why cheating doesn't actually cost you a match. Now, I think cheating can be the final stamp on you losing a match. It can be the final point, or it can definitely cost you some important points. Cheating, bad calls, all of that, little gamesmanship, moments like that. But they are not the reason you lost the match. They can be a small part of it. And I really want to hit this podcast home to a lot of you, and especially parents and coaches. I've had some parents in the past, and not as much coaches, but some parents, in defense of their child, just to try to protect them a bit, they really focus on the bad call part of what happened in the match. And it's interesting how, they might not say that was the reason, but every time that they lost some type of important point, they will tell me. And it's basically 100% of the time. Because in every match, there's probably one bad call, whether it was on purpose or not. And, and heck, I think, through some of the video work I've done, with my online business, I've seen moments where kids and parents swore that they got cheated on a call, and that when I looked at it, I'm like, no, actually, they were right. So we can make mistakes on what we thought was a bad call, and it actually was in. But, since there's no, way for us to officially see it, unless you get your video in, and watch it like I do, and, do the freeze frames, that's what you're going to go home with, and that's what you're going to think, and that's what you're going to remember for the rest of your time. But that is not the reason you lost the match, because think about it. Let's just say you lost, you had a bad call at out 5-4 third set in a match. Well, how'd you lose one set in the first place? How'd you lose 5 games in the third set? How'd you get down match point in that game? You had to lose multiple points in that game. Did you really get cheated 80% of the time, 70, or even just keep it simple, more than 50? So more than half the time that you lost a point, you were cheated. Now, I've never seen anything like that. If you have, then please tell me no. Let me know, because that'll be one of the craziest stories that I think the world needs to hear. But no, other stuff happened. But if you take the attention away from that, we don't get a chance to focus on what we can actually do better. If we are so focused on those 3 or 4 bad calls, however important the points were when they happened, we're going to miss everything that happened before. And we're going to miss that, hey, actually, I've seen this, if you watch NBA or NFL, that one holding call, or those free throws are awarded late in the game where, hey, if the team scored 100 points on you and you disagreed with those last 2, what happened with the other 98? Could have gotten better. So it's the same thing here in tennis, and we have to be very careful, how we talk about matches, how we talk about bad calls. Sure, they happen, but as soon as you hear, and especially if the player brings it up right away in a kind way, because again, if they lost the match, they're probably not very happy. Try to bring it back to, well, hey, what about that, short put away forehand that you missed at 30-all to put you down, match point? Well, I was just so concerned that they were going to cheat me, and I just had all this. Okay. But now we're talking about mental strength, our ability to handle adversity, our ability to handle tough moments. Okay. So we're talking about, we're getting back to what could I have done better? Because if you look at even in the pros, sometimes there's things that happen. Now, pretty much every tournament has shot spot, but some places like the French Open, for years they didn't have shot spot, so they had to go with the mark. And a lot of times you would see on TV that the mark on the court, the referee interpreted it as out, but then it was actually in on shot spot, but the player on the court has to deal with it. So what do? They have to keep playing. They have to find a way to figure it out. So you have to find a way to deal with that. So cheating is never going to be the reason you lost a match. It is just going to be a tiny little side piece. It's a tiny little reason because of it. And again, if they cheated you early in the first set or they cheated you in the second and you started to just get so upset that you couldn't focus, that's on you, because once again, there's always a small chance that the way you saw the ball was incorrect. And even if you were correct, it's just 1 point. So take care of the other points. I think as a coach, one of the things I've always tried to do ever since I started my online business, and what I used to do when I worked with Riley, is when we would look at matches, I don't want to fix the 3 or 4 unforced errors of a match. I want to fix the 21, the 22, the 25, all right? The 24 unforced errors on the forehand side, the 18 backhand unforced errors, the 12 double faults, the things that really impact the match, a large portion of it. Not the 3 or 4 angle forehand they missed. Okay, not the 2 drop shots that they missed. Not the 1 high backhand volley on an important point. Just because it's a high backhand volley, it seems like it's a put away, we got to work on it. Sure, we'll work on it, but that's not going to be the priority of my discussion after the match. It's going to be, well, how do we find ourselves in that situation in the first place, where that point was so important that we needed that call to go in our favor? All right? So take your attention there. Now, if you got cheated 15, 20 times, maybe I've never seen something like that happen. If you do, hey, again, all right, sure. Within everything, there's going to be an outlier. There's going to be that one moment. But for most of you and most of your matches and most of the situations, please stop talking about the cheating, especially at first. Okay, especially when you're first trying to analyze the match. Let it. Let's talk about that after. After you've talked about, hey, why did you have 32 unforced errors in the first set? Yes, I've seen it. All right, I've seen it. I've seen 86 unforced errors in a 3-set match, in a 14 and under match. So what about there? Okay, they didn't get cheated 70 times. So even if you thought 5 bad calls were there, what about the 70-something other unforced errors? That's where I'm going to put my attention, because if we can work on that, then that's going to mean a lot more than trying to fix those 4 or 5 points. So don't take the attention away from that. Don't make that the primary discussion. All right. It can be a part of it, but let it be a small part. And don't let it be the first part. Don't let it be the last part. Let it be just a casual one. Yeah, that bad call. Yeah, but, hey, well, you missed that. You did this. You did that. Your attitude was bad. You handled that moment wrong. You didn't go get a ref. I've seen this a lot too, where kids complain about, that they got cheated, but it's like, you didn't get a ref until the 4th bad call that you thought happened. Why not just get it right away? First one, hey, you can do that respectfully and say, well, I don't want to be that guy. Well, you can say, hey, look, I'm not 100% sure. I'm just going to get the ref. I'm not saying you're cheating. You can do that calmly. All right. But why'd you wait so long then? Why'd you wait until 5-4 in the 3rd set to finally call a referee? Now, if maybe that's the first call of the match and that's why you went to get a referee, well, then even more of a reason for you to think about, well, how'd you get to that point in the first place? So, keep your attention onto the biggest things that are affecting a match, the things that are costing you the most amount of points. And that way, if you focus on that, then you are going to come up with a good practice plan that are really going to affect those matches in the long term. So if you play that person once again, you are going to do so much better in an area that's going to prevent you from even getting to 5-4 in the 3rd set, down 30-40. All right, so let's be careful how we talk about cheating and bad calls and anything that we might have felt might have happened against us in an unfair way in a match. From my experience, that's not the reason why you lost a match. So let's keep things in perspective, and good luck out there as we learn to navigate this junior tennis process.